Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit, and I'm here with my buddy Mike. What's going on, man?
How you been?
Hey, good to see you. So he came over because we did a deal on some books and whatnot, and you know, it's always good to network and build relationships, and that's why I love this YouTube channel, meeting people. You get to build relationships, friendships, and sometimes you get to do deals together. So
absolutely.
Thanks for coming into Connecticut. You're from?
I'm in Methuen, Massachusetts right now.
Okay. And how's the reselling out there?
It's good. Yeah, there's a lot of thrift stores, so it's good stuff, and there's a lot of other opportunities like we're going to talk about, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I'm excited for this video because Mike's doing something that I actually don't have any experience in at all. I've talked to people who have done this before, and I know there's people who have built like really big businesses with recycling companies and liquidators and whatnot. So we're going to talk about how you can actually get inventory from a recycling company. We're going to define what a recycling company is, how much you can typically pay or offer, how do you even get the contact information, because I mean, honestly, I'm trying to authentically just figure out like how to do this myself, because you said when you made your ride out here, you had seen some bins and
absolutely. So you know, you definitely want to try and keep an eye out for bins that say clothes and shoes only.
Like, are you talking about like the white bins that are for like books and shoes and whatnot?
No, so the book bins are a whole other animal. It's the people who don't have a book bin to go to that wind up putting their books in the bins that aren't for books.
Oh, so you're saying the recycling companies will throw that stuff in there, or am I on a different page?
So what happens is people don't follow the rules on the bin. It says clothes and shoes only, and people shove their books and shove other things into those bins because they don't care. They just want to get rid of them.
And I have friends who have those bins. You could buy them off of Alibaba. You could get them for like $1,000 for a bin.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get the bins yourself. If you have the means, that's definitely an option. But what I've found for myself was networking with a recycler that doesn't want anything other than clothes and shoes is kind of the sweet spot for somebody who's looking for books. In my case, books, and I've taken pallets from the same type of recyclers of other random items that they wind up just throwing in a big Gaylord because they have to sort through all the clothes and the shoes and separate everything. So they wind up with this stuff, and they either have to get a big dumpster to dispose of it, or they they're basically losing money if they don't get these things out of here because people don't follow orders.
So when I always thought of a recycling company, I thought of like a big warehouse or some type of business who has like a big space that brings in stuff and recycles. You're not talking about that?
So basically, a lot of these clothing recyclers ship clothes by weight overseas. So they compress down the clothes to the heaviest compressed load they can possibly get away with to fit as much as possible in a shipment that's going overseas. So they're trying to squish everything, so they need to get out all of the.
But they're getting all their inventory from the bins, so everything. So that's what I want to be clear on, and that's what I was trying to figure out when we were talking behind the scenes. Like, what does a recycling company even mean? So when you say a recycling company, it's the big white bins. I'll put a picture on the screen. The ones that are out sometimes in like parking lots of grocery stores. It could be on the side of a like a Marshall's or something.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when you're saying recycling company, I want to be clear. So you're building relationships with the people who have these bins, and some of them I usually see are for clothing and shoes, or just clothing or shoes. Usually it's clothing and shoes and books. That's all I see. Is that what?
That's right.
Okay. Yep. So now we're clear in terms of like.
Absolutely.
So that's who you're targeting. So you're building relationships with these people. And so what you're doing is you're trying to put a deal together to get the items that aren't what they're looking for?
Exactly. So they're looking for a way to get rid of what they're not trying to have come to them. So it's just an ongoing struggle for them to keep up with what people throw in the bins.
So I know you had put in a deal together, and your number one source right now, you're working with somebody who you pick up books.
I pick up books. I've picked up pallets of other things in the past with them, and books is the main thing that I'm getting from them right now.
And what are they going after? Clothing and shoes? So the books are getting thrown in, and they're like, well, we could drop them off at the dump, but then we have to pay dump fees. We have to pay our team, our warehouse staff to dispose of it. That's all. And a lot of people don't realize that, like, when you're running a business, especially like if you're a recycling company, you have staff that you're paying 15, 20 bucks an hour, probably more, plus workman's comp, all that, it adds up. So instead of them having to have their team, maybe their team puts it together for you, but they're able to monetize it at least and maybe break even.
Exactly. And they've worked out with their staff to just say, take these and put them in this box.
Interesting.
They don't know anything else other than, clothes over here, books over here, random whatnot over here. And that's all it is like you said, it's just a constant supply of stuff they don't want, and that'll cost them money to dispose of. And so what they're trying to do is make money off of that instead of lose money on that by having somebody like one of us come and pick up a pallet.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how did you find this deal? Did you just reach out, like you saw the phone number on the bin?
So I actually found this particular deal. I saw a posting on Marketplace actually for a pallet of books, and this was their initial first post since they had lost their last connection, essentially. So the person that they were selling books to couldn't do it anymore for whatever reason, and so I knew exactly who this was when I saw it, because I had bought pallets from them of other random stuff. So I reached out and made sure that it was who I thought it was, and basically I was like, I'll be your guy, you know what I mean, if you want, but it's a commitment. They want somebody who's going to come on a regular basis.
What's a regular basis for your source? It depends on how much volume they're doing, I'm sure.
Right. It's how often those books get thrown into the bins, so it can vary. But in my case, I was picking something up every week.
Really?
Yep, on a weekly
like a pallet
basis.
or two?
A pallet a week, or every 10 days. Sometimes my schedule, they were pretty flexible with me. Sometimes my schedule would make it that the pickups were every 7 to 10 days, essentially.
And obviously we're not giving away your source, so maybe you don't mind sharing what people could expect to pay for, I know we're talking about books, maybe you can give some estimates of what people might want to offer for these items, because you don't know if it's going to be profitable or not, whereas when you're cherry picking, you're scanning, you're looking up the sold listings,
And it's important that you know what you're getting into. So definitely what I was paying was $50 a pallet. So
really?
So that was a good deal for me.
What is that, like 500-700 books or something?
No, it's got to be more than that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's like 1,000 to fill it to the top.
I would say 1,000 books. That's probably, 1,000, I'd say. But that being said, it's also 1,000 pounds about. You know what I mean? So you have to have the right vehicle to do something like this. But I know a lot of resellers that are willing to move heavy items and stuff, have a pickup truck. They do that kind of stuff. So
So you have to have a pickup truck to pick it up, or if you want to put a deal together where they drop it off, obviously that's going to take more time on their hands. I don't know if you're going to get.
And that's probably going to be for them a less convenient,
more of a hassle,
deal.
especially if it's $50 a pallet. Exactly. They just want you to get rid of it.
They just want somehow the keep things flowing, and they actually had me bring back the empty Gaylord to them to kind of keep reusing it. So it was like they bring it back, I bring it back, they use that empty box. So they need me coming back with that empty box so that they can keep refilling it for me, essentially.
So you got a lot of books. What other types of items can people expect to get out of these deals?
So you can get a pallet of complete randomness, and I mean,
people throw whatever in there.
I've gotten laptops. And this is, I'm talking about the golden nuggets in the box of dirt.
You're not gonna find it all the time.
So you get stuff that gets crammed in there, broken. It's just like going through the contents of a yard sale, but it's all in one big box, essentially.
And you never know what you're going to find, and you're paying $50 a pallet. So I mean,
exactly.
You're not paying much money, but
you got to read if you can get a vibe on the people that are working there, and kind of tell whether they're the types of people who will
cherry pick it out.
Who will pluck out what's good. In my experience, that has not been the case. They just throw whatever's in there. And it just keeps coming, so they have to get rid of it.
So let's give some people some action steps. On this channel, and we were talking behind the scenes as well, like, too many resellers, they get stuck as like a one-trick pony. They're only going to thrift stores. And there's nothing wrong with that if, you've got some honey holes or you've got a certain specialized knowledge or you're able to find stuff consistently. But the issue with the One Trick Pony thrift store reseller, I'm not saying anything bad about them, but you get competitors that come in, they raise the prices. There's things that are out of your control. So we're always trying to teach on this channel, like creative outside the way boxes to source, out of the box ways to source. And this is one of those ways. So let's give like an action step plan, like real quick. Like if somebody wanted to start getting some leads and stuff, step one, locate the bins, right?
Yeah, what I would try and keep an eye out for is you already know a lot of the bigger recycling companies.
Like Better World Books and stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. And you know, Planet Aid, you'll see those Planet Aid bins. They usually have pretty big operations. So you want to look for the ones that kind of just have it says clothes and shoes only, and then maybe like the contact information is somewhere on the bin. And then you want to reach out to them and ask them if they...
Give an example, like ring, ring, ring. I pick up the phone. Hello.
Yeah. So, okay. So, hello. Hi. I'm a local reseller, and I was wondering if you had any items that you guys are having a hard time getting rid of that people are throwing in your bins. Is there anything that you usually dispose of that you have pallets of?
Yeah, we do. We have a bunch of them at the warehouse, but honestly, what we've been doing is we've just been throwing them in the dump because it's almost not worth our time to sell them or drop them off. What did you have in mind?
I'd be interested in picking up a pallet just to kind of see if we could work something out. I might be able to come and get these on a regular basis.
So you're saying you'll be able to just come and just take them from us?
Yep.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Why don't you come to the warehouse?
I'm on my way.
I don't know if it's always going to be that easy, right?
It'll probably be a little bit trickier to get to the right person on the phone too. So I wouldn't quit if you get the first phone call, you get somebody and they're like, you know, I'm not the right person or something. I would definitely try and maybe even physically, if you're close enough, drive to that location and find out who you need to talk to. That goes a long way in this time because everything's all text and email and
no face
when you
to
can
face
to face with somebody and you can actually kind of like get to know the person that you're doing business with, I just feel like, you know, that just brings things up to the next level in that connection and building a relationship, you know.
Okay, cool. So you make that phone call, be persistent if they say no or you can't find the right person. Once you finally do, shoot your shot, you know.
Yeah.
Always, you know, I've never done this with recycling companies, but I've put a lot of deals together with companies for different types of things. And you always want to come from a place of adding value. Like you always, you don't want to be thinking about like what's in it for you, but what's in it for them. What's their pain point?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, when you do make the phone call, say, is this something I might be able to help you with? Because they're just trying to run their business and cut costs, and you're doing the same thing. So they understand the value that you're bringing if you tell them that you're willing to just you know go through this stuff and take a look at it at least. It can be a little tricky, I will say, on the back end after you have the pallet going through things. There's going to be some stuff that's not worth having. So you do need to figure out what you're going to do with those items, because that's the same problem that they had. Was what do I do with this stuff? So you take it, you find the stuff to sell, and then you're left with a bunch of stuff which you can donate. You know what I mean? And this is why it actually kind of works better in a pallet by pallet case, because if you do too much too fast, you're basically going to be left with this huge load of stuff. And then it's like, who's going to take all this? Because they had the same issue. So I would say I wouldn't try and take on anything more than a pallet a week unless you have help and you have a way of
start slow.
Of getting, you know, rid of the stuff that's no good. One
thing I learned in business, Mike, with anything is it always looks better than, like, how do I say this? There's always something really annoying about everything. Like any sourcing method, like there's a million pros and cons for thrifting. Like everyone's going to say, oh, well, library sales or consignment or, you know, recycling companies or liquidation or wholesale or private label. These are all opportunities that can make money for you, but is it a good fit for you? Is it going to piss you off to the point where you're like, this isn't for me? Like, I don't want a garage full of crap. Like, so you have to try these things and see what's a good fit for you and see if you could get it to work, because there's a formula, but you have to figure it out.
And that's definitely some of the problem solving that you want to, and just ask questions that you ask yourself before you even try to do something like this, is like, does this work for kind of like my style of doing things in general?
But dabble and try it out. Like, just get one
absolutely.
pallet. I think that's good advice, because so many people are like, I've met people and it's like, well, I'm starting my eBay or my Amazon business, and like, I'm doing it now, and I'm like, oh, so what's your burning desire? Like, what's your reason? And like, I got to pay my mortgage at the end of the month. And it's like, oh,
right.
You're putting yourself in a tough position. Like, you've got to kind of, it takes time to learn how to do these things, and there's things that could go wrong, and things
have gone wrong too. You know what I mean? So, and in my case,
like with the pallets on the back of your truck and it's raining.
In my case, I've been picking these pallets up, and I don't have a garage, so I go through everything like right when I get the next opportunity from picking it up, and I go through it as fast as possible, and I got to get tarps involved because of the rain and stuff like that. So it's definitely a great opportunity for the right person who has the space for it, and the right person who's willing to put in a little bit of, work to find some stuff. It's just like going anywhere to try and find something. It's just another source on top of what you already know. And it's like you said, it's just good to expand what opportunities are out there.
Yeah, and sometimes you build these relationships, and then that person, they're in a network of people in the same business, kind of like us resellers. We know a million resellers around us. Like, they might have friends that are in the same business that are maybe a couple towns over that are dealing with the same issue. So you can't you don't know what the ROI is going to be on that relationship, and that could be an extra $500 to $1,000 or $2,000 a month profit bottom line in your business. Right. Or it could just be something that you're like, all right, well, now I know in the future, like, that's not for me, and now you can move on to library sales or pawn shops or whatever you decide to do,
Exactly, yeah. It's just, you have to keep an open mind, especially with like the last year, how much we saw things change. I mean, a lot of people didn't even get an opportunity to go to the thrift stores because they were shutting down. They didn't know what to do, and then all of a sudden you got nowhere to get inventory from. So that's why we're just talking about different ideas and different things that are options. You know what I mean? Because it's like, once you're stuck, you gotta come up with a creative solution, and this is just another option to try out. You know what I mean? And if there's nobody in that area that's already doing this, those people are going to be so happy that you call. And the funny thing is, they don't know how to find us. We have to come to them. Yeah. We're not just resellers. Just go like, you know what I mean? You can't just be like,
you don't call the reseller hotline.
I'll just get a reseller. No, you got to show up. You show up, and then they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we were kind of like trying to figure something out like this. Because this isn't working for us how we're doing things, and it's really slowing things down on our end. So those relationships are beneficial for both people, and I think it's something to think about if you have the means to make it work.
Well, hey, man, appreciate you. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Mike, thanks for coming on, and
absolutely.
Trying to convince him to get a YouTube channel one day, but we'll see.
I'll get something going, man. I'm sure I'll eventually get around to it,
Yeah, we got to give a big shout out to your girlfriend, too. I know she doesn't want to be on camera, but she's flipping stuff on Instagram and stuff, and she has some really cool stuff. So if I get her permission, I'm going to try to link her Instagram down below. We'll see, but But thanks everybody for watching. Thanks, Mike, for coming on.
Thank you.
And go take action. All right. We'll see ya. Bye.
Later.